Have you ever found yourself overwhelmed with vast amounts of text data, unsure how to classify and categorize it all manually? Picture this: endless documents, blog posts, social media comments, and articles, all waiting to be sorted and understood. It's a task that can feel like finding your way through a maze without a map. The process of manually classifying and categorizing text data is not just daunting, but it's also time-consuming. It's like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle with thousands of pieces, one that grows every second. And with the sheer volume of data, the chances of inconsistency and errors creeping in are high. It's a bit like playing a game of telephone where the original message can get distorted as it passes through different hands. But imagine if there was a tool that could automate this process for you, a tool like ChatGPT. Enter ChatGPT, an AI developed by OpenAI that has the power to revolutionize text classification. So what exactly is ChatGPT? It's an advanced artificial intelligence model that uses machine learning to understand and generate human-like text. It's like having a conversation with a person, only this person is a machine that's been trained on a wealth of data from books, articles, and websites. The true magic of ChatGPT lies in its ability to understand context, pick up on subtleties, and even generate creative, original content. It's not just about repeating what it's been taught, but understanding and applying it in new, innovative ways. It's like having a personal assistant that never sleeps, constantly learning, adapting, and improving. And the best part? It can be used for a variety of applications, including but not limited to text classification. Sounds interesting, right? So, how do we use ChatGPT for text classification? The first step to using ChatGPT for text classification involves setting up the environment. Let's dive into the specifics. The very first thing you need to do is gain access to the ChatGPT API. To do this, navigate to OpenAI's website and create an account if you haven't already. Once you're signed in, head over to the API section. There, you'll find the option to request access to the ChatGPT API. It's important to note that approval may take a while, so be sure to request access well in advance of when you plan to start your project. While you're waiting for approval, there are a few other things you can do to prepare. Start by installing the necessary packages for working with the API. If you're using Python, the primary package you'll need is the OpenAI Python client. You can install this using pip, Python's package installer, with the command pip install OpenAI. If you're using a different programming language, look for the corresponding client library provided by OpenAI. Next, we need to authenticate the API. OpenAI uses API keys for authentication, which you can generate from the OpenAI website. Once you have your key, you'll need to include it in your code to authenticate your requests. In Python, you can do this by setting the OpenAI API key variable to your key. For other languages, refer to the documentation for the specific method. It's worth mentioning that OpenAI has strict rules for storing and using these keys. Make sure to keep your key secure and never share it with anyone. If you suspect that your key has been compromised, you can generate a new one from the OpenAI website. And there you have it. With the API access request sent, the necessary packages installed, and the API authenticated, you're all set to start classifying text with ChatGPT. Remember, this is just the setup phase. The real fun begins when we start interacting with the API and making it do our bidding. With the environment set up, we're ready to move on to the actual text classification process. Now that we've set up the environment, we can start using ChatGPT to classify our text data. Let's get into the exciting part, feeding our text data into the model. The process is simple. We create a conversation with the model like a chat. Each conversation begins with a system message, followed by a user message. The system message sets the behavior of the assistant, while the user message contains the text data we want to classify. Remember, the system message is key. It instructs the model on what to do. For text classification, it could be something like, "You are a helpful assistant that classifies text into categories." The user message then feeds the text to be classified. Next, we run the OpenAI chatCompletion.create function, passing in the model's name, which is text DaVinci 003, and the conversation messages. The model then processes the data and returns the results. Now, how does ChatGPT classify the text? It's like having a conversation with a very knowledgeable friend. The model reviews the text, understands the context, and then, based on the instructions in the system message, it provides a response. This response is your text classification. Interpreting the results is also straightforward. The model's response will be in the choices field of the API response. It will be a message from the assistant with the text classification. For instance, if we ask the model to classify a sentiment, the response might be, the provided text has a positive sentiment. What if you have a lot of text data to classify? Don't worry, you can automate the process. Simply loop through your data, feed each piece of text to the model, and store the results. It's efficient and saves a lot of time. And just like that, you've classified your text data using ChatGPT. So, why go through all this trouble to use ChatGPT for text classification, you may ask? Well, the benefits are numerous. For starters, ChatGPT is a powerful tool for time efficiency. It sifts through large volumes of text in a heartbeat, a task that would take a human hours, even days to accomplish. Moreover, ChatGPT provides consistent results. Unlike us humans, it doesn't get tired or distracted. It maintains the same level of accuracy and precision throughout, ensuring the reliability of your text classification. And let's not forget about scale. Whether it's a handful of documents or a mountain of data, ChatGPT is ready to handle it. Its capacity to manage and classify vast amounts of information is truly remarkable. In essence, using ChatGPT for text classification is like having an army of diligent, tireless, and precise data scientists at your disposal. With ChatGPT, the daunting task of text classification becomes a breeze.